out to the halftime report. It is August 8th, 2019. It's a No Justice Day today. It is myself, Noah Davidson, and Gino Poor. How are you guys doing today?
Pretty good, man.
I'm fantastic, as always.
Well, the market's starting to bounce and come back. Is this looking more like a correction, or do we believe in this rally? What are your thoughts?
Well, it's got a lot of energy behind it. That is for sure. Today's candlestick's moving up with a lot of force, but it's doing so thus far on, pretty tepid volume early today. It's still early in the session, so there could be a lot of volume left in that. Coming up on it, it's in that 29-20 zone right now, kind of hanging out. That's some old support resistance in there. This is kind of a big area for the chart. If you kind of look back at it historically, there's a lot of consolidation in that neighborhood. Plus the 50-period moving average. And something I was looking at earlier today, and we talked about in the lounge for a moment, was the volume profile. Let me see if I had that. There it is, right there.
I am a fan of the volume profile.
Volume profile. Get enough indicator.
Oh,
yeah.
I love it.
Well, it blew past the high volume mark. So the high volume mark was at about 28.90, and it's blown past that. So there's less overhead volume in this area. There's still a significant amount, but it's a solid line. They've got another mark out there at 29.40 or so. And one of the things I always worry about when a market hits like this is I worry about the two-leg drop. So this is like, big drop. Well, whenever you see a big drop, it's really comfort, drop, rally, then drop again.
Ooh.
You get that drop, rally, drop again. So here's the drop. Here's the rally. Are we going to get a second drop here? That's one of the things I always look for.
Hey, no, I like that. What's that purple line on the last, when you showed that second drop back there? What was that purple line it hit its head on?
9-period moving average.
9. Okay.
Kind of like where it's at right now.
Yeah.
Steady sell off, 9-period moving average, like steady sell off, 9 and
guys,
15.
I just took my Doomsday helmet off. Do I need to put it back on?
You can put it back on right now if you like.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, it might be a little
haircut. Jesus.
You can get the V-shaped recovery. You could get a recovery like this where you get a rally and then a small drop and then it takes off. The Fed still cut rates. I mean, you still have that force behind you. And I think it's become a foregone conclusion that there's going to be another rate cut.
Well,
and yeah.
Yeah. Well, I like, number one, the volume profile real quickly. If you don't know what that is, that's a point where the most volume was. What price, not volume per time, but that's where the most volume of contracts was traded.
Yep.
For that price.
Well, it's right there with those all-time highs. Like it's right there at those old benchmark highs. Yeah. So
what I like about that is it tells you if that is a resistance area or not. When I see like resistance areas, Noah, and support areas, sometimes even on double tops, they won't have a lot of volume. So it's easy to break out of those. And just so you know, when I scan for double tops, I look for double tops with low volume profiles because that's easy breakouts. Yeah. This one was not an easy breakout. That was a lot of volume right there.
Yeah, a lot of volume. So the fact that it broke back out, and that becomes, again, a big benchmark. And I think the best way to explain it, Gino, is it's a point of reference.
Yeah.
You think about all the traders who made transactions, the most traders made that 29.90 reference point. So that becomes a strong reference point for, their P&L, their break-even point. And, breaking back up above that, that's a strong sign. And then you'll notice the volume just decreases out to that peak.
And look at the resistance profile up there at the very top.
Yep.
Just above 3,000 there. Just above 3,000. We got a little bit lower right there at 3,000. Of course, 3,000 is a psychological number.
Yes.
Question for you, Noah, for students and viewers, beginners, what do you have your volume profile set for? How many days back?
Well, I think the default's 1,000.
Or is it a chart? Or do you have it on the chart?
No, I have it on the chart, and it's 1,000 periods when you look.
Oh, it's 1,000. Okay, it's not whatever you're zoomed in on.
Nope, it can be, but the default setting's 1,000,
okay.
And so that gives you a couple years worth of data, right?
Yeah, gives me plenty of data. So, and plus the market hasn't been up in this area for that long, so
right,
a year's enough, right?
Right.
So yeah, so I like that. The next thing that caught my eye is when you hit that moving average, you have a 9. What is the volume profile at that moving average right now? If you switch over to that.
Oh, let's see here. I've got
I can see right now it's going to be the high of today's candle. So
if you were to switch that intraday and look at the volume profile.
No, you had the 9 period where you showed it. The 9 period bumped his head on.
Yeah, so the 9 period moving average, I've got that on a different time frame there, but
where was that at? Right there.
There, yep.
God, I wish I could see the volume. What price was that back there? Where he hit his head on the 9?
Back here?
Yeah, it was what, 28.20?
28.23-ish, 28.20.
Yeah, can we see the volume profile on that? Now, if you go back to, I want to see how heavy that was, because was that a moving average or a volume resistance? So that's interesting because
so there's the volume profile in that ballpark.
Kind of high, right?
There's a little spike there. I mean, it's not low volume, that's for sure.
No, back then it wasn't, because this was
a lot more is accumulated. You bet.
Yeah, so yeah, that was a volume. So again, another resistance point, whether it's a double top, a moving average, a breakdown point, a psychological number like 3,000, a Fibonacci number, if it has a high volume profile on it, will tell you if that Fibonacci, like sometimes I'll put Fibonacci's on there and you're like, well, which one is it going to hit, right? You got like 8 to choose from. Which one has the highest volume profile on it? So the biggest thing traders need to look at is these indicators here are great, because you're not just looking at, the average, moving average or whatever. You're looking at past data. These are telling you where trades happen based on volume. Nothing's more important than price action and volume, period.
Yep. Support,
price
resistance,
and volume are right there in the volume profile. I love day trading with it. Now, lastly, what blew me away, Noah, is when you're talking about the 9-day moving average, mine is set for the 10 and 20. So when yours broke the 9 today, I'm like, well, how come mine hasn't? Well, because mine's a 10-day moving average.
Well, Gino, I'm here to represent the Church of the 9 period moving average. I was wondering if you might be interested in joining.
Join us.
Join us.
What do you got, Cody? The 11?
No, I'm a 9.
Well, bearish people are going to keep moving that moving average up until.
Well, I used to use an 8 because 8's a Fibonacci number. That's a magical number for me. So
that's true. 8 and 13 are very powerful. So here's the deal. If you're using the 9 and it broke above it today, and that's stronger than the last swing high, that's the second shoe to drop, you might go, oh, this is actually stronger than last second shoe. But I'm looking at the 10 going, wait a minute. It actually banked off the 10 both times. What about the people using the 13? When do you finally say, okay, it's above a serious moving average? It is probably going to break out and go bullish now.
I've got a pretty good answer for that. The 50. It's got the 9, the 10, the 13. They'll all be in that same neighborhood.
50 definitely is a strong one. Mine's the 20. Mine's the 20. Even if it does a couple higher highs and higher lows, it still has to get above the 20.
Yep. So I've been really suspicious of this bounce. And because, again, I've seen enough corrections where you get that 2-leg drop.
Yeah.
A, B, C corrections really, really common. But again, with the steep sell-off being primarily news driven, I mean, a little bit of disappointment from the Feds not lowering rates, and then China unpegging their currency, that can certainly cause the market to go in a tailspin. But I've seen that before. You go back to like 2015 when they unpegged the currency, the last time they really manipulated their currency.
I thought 2015 was when Swiss franc unpegged their currency in that sense.
Well, there was a China currency in that ballpark.
Oh, okay.
I'd have to go back. There's a steep sell-off that, shook out condors and that kind of thing. But then sharply recovered, just like, the market oftentimes does. So at this point in time, I'm a little cautious, and this kind of volatility has a tendency to shake traders out. Like, just it can cause problems. So if you're a newer trader, it's probably wise to pull back on position sizes, trade less, not more, let the dust settle, and let things kind of, pick a direction before you start getting back in.
Yesterday, Gino,
or I was going to finish this thought, or shorten your time frame and be more of a day trader. Take advantage of the short time moves, because it's hard for me to predict how the market's going to behave, from day to day in this kind of volatility.
Going flat can't help. Now, Gino, yesterday you had mentioned, you said you are bearish until your indicators tell you otherwise. So what are they telling you right now?
So there's a lot of internal indicators I look at. So let's say me and Noah both most traders like to look at a daily chart, right? No matter what kind of trader you are. The only people that don't go to a weekly chart are usually your day traders. They'll use it as support and resistance, but they're going from bullish to bearish intraday. So a day trader could be bullish or bearish in the same day. A scalper could be bullish or bearish in the same 10 minutes. A swing trader can't be bullish and then switch to bearish in the same day. Very seldom. So you have to look. Okay.
They can't if they're impulsive.
Well, yeah.
Should they? No. But can they? Yes.
Can they? Yeah. So, and if you're bipolar or got schizophrenia, yeah, you could play both parties. But here's the thing. On a swing trader or trend trader, a trend trader is going to look at the longer term even more. So we broke down on the daily and definitely were bearish on the daily last week on Thursday and Friday.
Yep.
But the weekly on a lot of the sectors were still holding. And the 50-day moving average was still holding. But here's my thing. I do not go bullish on the daily, even if we're bullish on the weekly, until we get back above the 20. Because the 20 can be a very hard resistance to get above. So until we're above the 20, and honestly, I like the moving averages to be pointing up. So the trend's already confirmed. And then I go in and I look at a lot of internals, Cody. And honestly, it's really not about the market. It really isn't. The market is your go-to news reporter. What's the market doing? S&P 500. You know, Cody, I have portfolios that none of my stocks are in the S&P 500. And you know what? It outperforms the S&P 500. So we're all basing it on a mutual fund called the S&P 500. There's over 8,000 stocks out there. Now, you know, the S&P 500 is completely different than the European emerging markets or the VEU, which is the world's biggest companies that are not American, which are not S&P 500. It's just a gauge. It is the benchmark to beat though, right? So what I like and what's very important, much more important than the market is the sectors. So a lot of people are like, oh, the market's bearish. Well, real estate, gold, and utilities isn't. They're on fire. You know, if somebody says, yeah, the market's bullish, not energy. Energy's got a long way to go.
Well, and the S&P is really heavy in energy. As far as the number of stocks in there, it's got quite a few energy stocks in that. So yeah, I'm running through the sectors now. Financials still look a little bit bearish to me.
Yeah.
Basic
and so what
materials,
I do, I got exactly what Noah has on his screen. You got a perfect, can you widen that a little wider, Noah? Here's one of my best ways to gauge the strength.
You want to widen which? The sectors?
Yeah, so I can see your RSI better. You see that RSI? Yep. Above 55, you can almost count on that being bullish. Anything above 55, and what do I see there? I see real estate.
Real estate, utilities.
And that's it.
That's it.
And if you put gold in there.
Basic materials is creeping up there.
Yeah. Now, anything below 45 is bearish. So really check this out, Noah. Sort it by RSI, high to low, and you'll know where the strength is. Gold, real estate, utilities, done.
Okay, now I want everybody to pause for just a moment there and take in that little nugget, golden nugget.
It's a Geno gem.
Knowledge, a Geno gem.
Named it a Geno gem.
A Geno gem.
He'll drop one of those and then he'll just keep going. And I always have to pause too. Like
Geno gem. See, that's why you come hang out with us so you can pick up the Geno gem.
Okay.
We'll have to go with the Noah knowledge. I don't know if I got to come up with a better catchphrase for myself.
Oh, here's the big
and perhaps better gems.
So here's the big mistake right here. When I get a bunch of bullish signals, the market was bullish. Guess what most people do? Even I see this in the pro traders. They jump into their favorite stock. So let's say my favorite stock is, I don't know, ExxonMobil. Oh, the market's bullish. Let's go buy ExxonMobil. Or Apple, right? Let's go buy Apple. Everybody jumps on Apple. Let's go jump on Tesla. Well, wait a minute. Your best stocks are the ones that where the market strength is. And right now that'd be gold, real estate, and utilities. Those stocks are outperforming the market. That's what relative strength stands for. You don't want to jump in unless you're a bottom fisher into the energy and financials yet, because they're still underperforming. So you got to find, okay, where do I get in at which sector? And honestly, when the market crashed in 2000 with the dot-coms, everything tanked except colleges. It was funny. Everybody's going back to college because they go, oh, shit, we do need a degree. We need to get a degree. This market thing's not working. And there was a certain sector, like one time the market was tanking, and it was solar companies on fire. So if you knew that industry, Or what was a good one when the market was petering out 2 years ago? It was kind of going flat. Pot stocks, or was it 3 years ago? If you're in the right sector, who cares what the market's doing?
Well, and what you're talking about, Gino, sector rotation and money flow. I mean, really, that's what you're, and that took me a long time to really wrap my head around. Because when I was new to trading, like I remember I met John Bollinger. And I know you know John Bollinger relatively well, Gino.
Yeah, my neighbor.
Yeah, he's your neighbor. But I met him when I worked for Metastock, and he was teaching us about sector rotation and money flow. And it seems like such a really advanced concept. And I wondered how people analyzed it, and I wondered how you'd come to conclusions. And this is essentially all it is. You go, oh, which sectors are moving up, which sectors are moving down. And if you got money going into gold, into real estate, into utilities, that's where the money's flowing into. And you look down at the bottom, you see energy, financials, industrials getting beat down. That's where the money's flowing out of. And following that money trail is, I think, half the battle as a trader.
Right. Now, check this out. A lot of people are afraid to go with strength. They're more like investors want to bottom fish. And that's okay. Like energy right now, you're thinking, well, if energy is beaten down, those stocks are cheap. Should I pick it up when they're low? That's a good mindset too. It's just, when are they bottoming out, right? So what I do, Noah, to go back to where we started, is I'll go into the energy sector, find a good fundamental stock, and I'll wait for that stock to get above its 20-day moving average before I even think about it. So now I know it's starting a bullish trend. Mm-hmm. So you put together strength and timing and fundamentals, and I'll tell you, it's really a great system. I've done it for since 2000. So really, what you need to do is learn your basic fundamentals. Let's say PEG, you take a PEG ratio. Find 2 or 3 stocks in every single one of those sectors right there. Maybe 2 stocks in every sector that have the best PEG ratio or fundamentals, and wait for them to give you a buy signal. And stick with the ones, like if you're bullish, I'd say right now you only have 3 to choose from above 55. Anything between 55 and 45 is neutral. Below 45, you start getting bearish, definitely. Now, right now, where's the spiders at? 46, right? So check this out. Not only is utilities, real estate, and gold still bullish, but anything above 46.40 is outperforming the market. Healthcare barely, technology is. So you're kind of looking at those. So you could start digging in those sectors, like let's say materials. You can start digging in there. It's 51 and 52, but make sure it's on an uptrend. Those are outperforming the market. Because remember, the market is the average of all these. And where's it sitting? Almost in the middle, right? If you take out gold and real estate. So yeah, energy is what's holding it down. Energy and financials are the 2 biggest sectors of the spiders. And look where they're at. So they're pulling it down, So one more little thing I'm going to put in the chat box here. Should I put it on the YouTube one?
Yeah, put it in the YouTube chat if you want to share with everyone.
Okay.
We're over here discussing nicknames for Noah.
Oh yeah. Well, I didn't like Noah Nuggets. That had so many negative connotations in my head. Ways to twist that one around. I ran with the clean version of it, mind you.
So Noah, you and I have something called the Gridiron we do every week, right?
Yep.
And it's on Tackle Trading's newsletter, where it puts these on a gridiron. And
if you want to share with everyone.
Yeah, no.
What do you want me to put that gridiron? Which? You want me to actually pull open Tackle's gridiron?
If you want, you don't have to. Yeah. But
although the gridiron from last Friday was not what it opened up on Monday.
No, that news gets skewed on that big time. So
Noah and I were the most bearish out of the whole team, and it was because of this RSI thing, Cody. It was the RSIs were lower last Thursday, and I was like, yeah. And also my AR high-low was negative.
Let's take a look at that. We had some folks asking about that. AR high 3M, right? Minus AR low 3M.
Another internal that looks at 8,000 stocks, not 500. And it says how many of your stocks are making new lows versus new highs?
5 new stocks. Wait, is that what it says?
Yeah, it's neutral. It's neutral right now.
Yep. You got 5 stocks making new highs, 5 more making new highs compared to lows.
Yeah, so it's basically neutral. Nobody's making new. Now, what was it last Thursday?
we'll go back. It was down -40, -50.
And Friday, look at that. Oh, that was Monday, the next one. So it already warned us on Friday that there's a lot of stocks, and also Thursday, it actually dipped below 52. So anything below -50, I take seriously. It's just like the McClellan oscillator, but a little bit better. That's a Geno oscillator. So there's a lot of internals I look at, Cody, that, and I had a series yesterday, and I'm going to do it again tomorrow on the lounge on tackle trading, is how to buy insurance on the market. Like when the market gives you a sell signal, you got to take it seriously because it doesn't move slow. It drops quick. Well, look at Monday. Woke up to a 3% drop. You've got to buy insurance quickly and ahead of time. So I always buy a little bit of insurance, but when I get a signal like that, like, hey, the market's more bearish than you think, I load up on insurance. That's put spreads on the spiders, the SPX, the RUT, whatever's cheaper, like a nickel or dime. And they paid off, man. They paid off. I had to protect my bull puts. I had to protect some naked puts. I had to protect a lot of things. So having a beat on the market, sometimes just buying it on a sector. If I'm heavily in the technology, I'll go buy puts on the XLK that you're looking at right there. You know, if I'm really got a whole bunch of materials, I'll put puts on the XLB, a put spread, because the ETFs are cheaper to protect that whole sector. And when I see a signal like -50, like I did on Thursday and Friday last week, I bought a bunch of put spreads on the SPX to protect everything. Mm-hmm. And boy, I was happy Monday when I woke up. You know, so that's that. When you pull up the gridiron, Noah, I'm going to put us link how I gauge the market. Number one, RSIs. I look at that right away. I even look at the RSI in China, FXI, EEM, VEU. The RSI is a trend indicator. The one you're looking at is a 14-day up there. On my charts, I have a 20. But I want to put in one more for you guys. And this guy right here, you can find it many places, but this is the easiest. On stockcharts.com, this is my homepage when I log in. Then I go to tackle trading. On the very bottom, it does something slightly different than the RSI, but it's sometimes more powerful than the RSI. And when you combine those two, you get the number I put on the gridiron. That's how I come up with my number. It's really automated. It beats me. It beats anybody guessing pretty much every time. And the person who invented this, I can't think of his name, the BPI. He's very famous in the market, very famous in his market, the BPI. Who invented it? Oh, what's his name? Very famous guy. You probably heard of him. What's his name?
BPI indicator. I'm Googling it right now.
Charles Dow. Charles Dow. That's him.
Charles. You mean Uncle Charles? Yes, of course.
Guy who invented the Dow Jones. Yeah. So basically, it's been around since the 1800s, and it still works, and they still use it. It basically tells me how many stocks in each sector are still bullish and still bearish. Not based on market cap, market weight. It's based on, are they still making higher highs and higher lows, or vice versa? How many are still bullish? They call it the BPI, bullish percent indice. You're going to hear that on CNBC sometimes. You'll hear it on Bloomberg, and people, they don't even know what they're talking about. Right now, the S&P is at 49.6, which means half the stocks in the S&P 500 are bullish, half are bearish. That's neutral. And gold miners are at 87%. Guess who's on the very bottom? Energy, 24%. So you put those two together. What's the RSI of energy? 33.
33.
And the BPI is at 24. You get an average of about 30. So there you go, 30-yard line. Pretty simple, right?
Yep.
-30, actually. Utilities, 78%. What's the RSI of utilities up there?
Utilities is at 56.
So 78 to 56 is 67. So I'm going to put it on the 70-yard line.
Looking little bull flag pattern.
That'd be on that positive 30.
Did you try to drop a link in YouTube?
Yeah, I did.
No, we got blocks. Only a few people can drop links. It keeps people from spamming us. Drop it in our chat, and I'll drop it in YouTube.
Oh, it didn't go. Oh, okay. These datas and worksheets I've been dropping in there. Okay, there we go. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. You can't see what I'm looking at. You know, it's tough when me and Noah are just flying through this stuff, and I'm, three pots of coffee deep.
You're 3 pots in?
Yeah, and I don't know how big this thing is. I'm not. I guess you should probably measure this. There's probably a limit. And I should go back to green tea. So here we go. Noah Nectar. What the heck is that?
We're trying to think of the
Sounds sticky.
Noah Nectar, you little sweet guy, you. Noah Nectar, you little hummingbird.
Or like my mother used to call me, Noah More Children. That's what you know. After I came around, she was not up for more.
My go-to is if I don't know what to add on the end of your name, it's Noah Buttafuoco. Noah,
there you go.
Joey Buttafuoco.
All right. So I like the utility sector there. I think that looks pretty promising as far as that goes. Real estate looks hot and gold's been.
Let me see if that worked, Cody. Yeah, it worked. So if you scroll to the very bottom, and they just added this, by the way, they used to make it hard to get to. BPI. Who's got the screen? Noah's got the screen?
I got the screen, but I don't have your stock charts access.
Oh, you don't?
Well, no, I don't have a subscription to that. When I click on that, let's see if we get.
It's free.
Oh yeah,
that's free. Now it is. And what's cool about that? Scroll to the bottom. God, we're giving away too many secrets. I usually save this for the mentorship. Scroll to the bottom. Bullish percent. Yeah, you just passed it up a little. Go a little higher because it's off our screen. Right there. Sort it by close. Close right there.
Close.
Oh, that's the wrong way. There you go. Gold miners top, right? What that means is BPI, what percent of the stocks in these sectors are still bullish? Gold miners, 87%. What I look for, what's standing out is you see the bars on the right? Who's had a good change today? Look at that green bar. Consumer discretionary, actually.
Transportation.
Transportation jumped up 5%. See the +5? Anything that has a positive 5% move, especially off of a bottom, means that there's a big change in that sector. This thing went into bullish territory today. It went from 55 to 60. And why would transportation be going bullish? Let me think. Energy is bearish. Oil is bearish. There you go. So that is the fundamentals behind it. So there might be some good picks in there. So this means most of the stocks just turned bullish and it's going to start outperforming. I have a feeling transportation is going to take over utilities.
Well, I mean, with low price energy, yeah, there's going to be some pretty killer stocks in that transportation index to go check out for sure.
So if you want to bottom fish, keep your eye on energy. It's at 24%. You need that to jump up a good 5% in a day or two. When you see a good 5% change down there in energy, because energy is the lowest of all those. You know what's missing here is real estate. They don't have real estate in here. And by the way, when it says like, let's pick a sector there, Noah, Staples. Staples is BPSTAP. That's what that website uses. By the way, what stocks are they tracking in BPSTAP? It's the same ones as the spiders, XLP. So they're the same. XLP, XLU is utility. It's the same as those. They're tracking the same stocks.
Pretty sharp recovery there on the consumer staples.
And that's enough lessons for today, Noah. That's a lot to digest, man. That's all.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. I had a good time. I learned a lot. It's always fun to hang out with Gino, don't you think?
So there is strength in the market always somewhere, and there's always weakness. But right now, I still see most of the stuff below 55. So not everything's bullish. You know what is at 55 right now? S&P 100. Dow 30's at 56. I'm glad they didn't put the Russell in here. Why not? So put the Toronto 300 in here, but they don't put the Russell. So Toronto's at 61.
What's the symbol for the Toronto 300?
Well, on the BPI, they have it as, some weird BPTSE or whatever. Yeah, I see it right there below there, Toronto 300. That's at 61. And so it's outperforming us, the Canadian stocks. I wish there was more. And there are websites that have full-on BPIs on everything. Our competitors, right? So I'm not going to mention them. But knowing how to use it is amazing, because you know what they use to make this? The point and figure chart, which is higher highs, higher lows. And again, it goes back to, I am still using a tool from the 1800s. Isn't that amazing?
The point and figure chart?
Yeah. Yeah, if you look at it, it's scary, but it's not.
Yeah. Well, it's tic-tac-toe, X's and O's. I actually used to have a guy that I worked with that was very big into point and figure charts. and I learned a little bit about it, and it definitely is an older tool. It's been around for a long time. And we used to have, when I worked for Metastock, we used to have a little,
oh, really?
we used to have a plugin for point and figure. And it's an interesting, again, it's very much about that reversal pattern, and, the higher highs and higher lows, you can tell when you get that, the strength.
Reversal patterns.
Yep.
Have y'all seen the movie A Beautiful Mind? Because that's what that's reminding me of there.
That's what that reminds me of too. And so when they
he's like trying to decode some message that's not really there.
Yes, exactly. And when we were releasing a plugin based off of point and figure, and they were trying to come up with a good name for it, and I came up with point and go figure, because man, that is hard to read stuff. So
yeah, it's really they made it when the market moved really slow.
Yes, back in the day. But it's an interesting metric, and again, it's something that if you go study like your technical analysis A to Z type of stuff, like you'll learn about the point and figure charts.
And really, it is the one that pioneered higher highs and higher lows. They stayed bearish and stayed in zeros until we turned bullish, and it was based on, believe it or not, Fibonacci numbers, a certain percent.
Mm-hmm.
So believe it or not, higher highs and higher lows all started from, point and figure, which was based off using Fibonacci numbers, which means Fibonacci has a place.
It does. Now, here's the question of the day. Do we have a point and figure? No, Thinkorswim doesn't offer point and figure charting.
No. But, basically it is price action and volume. You still have to have volume behind the point and figure, you still have to have volume. So what you're looking at here, so no, to wrap things up, make it easy. Honestly, I love looking at the market. I love jumping down here to your sector ETFs and looking at the RSI you have up. And if I'm looking for strength, right there, that's my gridiron right there.
Hey, Noah, can you pull up the newsletter? Because we just got a question in the chat, which is right from the newsletter, is how do you see the individual sectors? We have buttons for those every week on the newsletter.
Oh, so if you're on YouTube right now and you have not seen our gridiron and how we find great stocks in a heartbeat from this, do you want to see how it's done? I mean, you literally can find a stock in a good sector in less than a minute.
So yeah, down toward the bottom, you got your boom, boom, boom. So sector gridiron. Again, this is always one of my favorite things, like seasonally, what's supposed to do well. August, utilities and tech tend to be the strongest leaders in August. And then down here below, you got the stocks grouped by sector, broad market sectors. Right there.
So you click any of those buttons and it's going to bring you.
Okay, so let's pick some strength. How about real estate, Noah? Let's pick real estate. Watch this. You click real estate because it's a strong. We're going to look for bullish stock in real estate. Now, there's all the stocks in real estate. Now, what I do, Noah, to take it a step further, that's all the stocks that are heavily traded in real estate. I weeded out all the ones that are low volume. Okay. Now, if I go, this is what I do. I take it a step further. It only takes 2 seconds. I go to valuation on the left there, and I sort them by PEG ratio. I want a low number. Why?
You want a low PEG because that's good growth.
Yeah. For bullish stocks, I want a low PEG. Bad stocks, I want a high PEG. So I sort it by PEG. Oh, I definitely don't want those. Okay, sort it the other way. And I take a look. I'm looking at the first 7. Anything over 3, I don't want. And so now I go to the charts. Now just hit basic over there. Just hit basic. It's right under tickers. And now they're sorted by the best fundamental. Now look for a candidate. And there you go. There's real estate. I'm not seeing anything there. Not seeing anything there. There you go. I like that one. Third one down. AIV. What's that?
Yep. AIV.
I like that break right above 50.5 there. See that? 51-ish. That's a nice little scalp up to 52.
That one's not bad looking. I saw another one that I thought
was
not
look
bad.
at that one.
PSA breaking out, little top of the channel-ish, but nice scenario there.
Ooh, there's a nice little resistance right there on CBRE.
And AMT is not too shabby on the breakout.
I would take that as a breakout.
So look how fast we found a good stock in a couple good picks in a good sector. Isn't that great?
That's pretty cool.
Now, what about, let's find a bear. Let's find a bear. Let's go to energy. So back to the gridiron. You pick. What sector you want to do? Let the audience.
Well, yeah, let's go with energy. I'm good with going bearish in energy.
Okay. So watch how easy it is. If you go to tackle trading, find energy on the on or sector there.
Okay. Oh, so I went one page
So we go
too
down.
far.
This is the fastest screener for stocks there is, by the way, guys. And like I said, you can find 2 or 3 good fundamentals in every sector. It only takes like 5 minutes. Just sorted by peg. And I update it every 2 weeks, my peg ratio stocks.
Just getting back down there. Pardon my navigation.
Too far.
There we go. Too far. There we go.
Where's sector? There it is.
Energy. Boom.
There's our, okay, now there's our energy. We've weeded out all the ones with low volume. Value. Now I want a high peg on these. I want a high peg. Anything over 3 is bad, by the way. And there we go. God, the first.
Yeah. And I happen to already be short a few of these stuff.
Oh, do you really?
Funny how that works, right? So
basic.
Yep, absolutely. Go click on basic layout there.
Yeah, basic's nice because it gives you a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
I've been having fun with Apache. Apache's been on my, in full disclosure, I am short Apache. So,
look at the
Schlumberger and Halliburton.
Look at the double bottom right there, about to break. Right there, right. Oh my God, there's so many setups. Look for a swing high in CXO. Right there. Okay. Yeah,
look
maybe. At the double bottom right there. Right below yesterday's low.
Look for a breakdown below that.
Yeah. Look at that one on Schlumberger.
Schlumberger. It's like Target.
Yeah. So God, you guys, there's 3 or 4 picks right there. I love the breakdown on Schlumberger right there below yesterday's low.
Look at that big fat macro inverted cup and handle on that.
Oh. Long puts, short stock, covered put. What do we do?
I don't know. Let me consult the Magic 8 Ball. Schlumberger. How about that?
That's actually not a bad idea. We should make a trading Magic 8 Ball where all the answers are something that says like
trading Magic 8 Ball and then like maybe breaking out a Ouija board.
Well, the volatility is low enough. Diagonal put calendar, but I'm
like the answers it'll give you would be like long stock, bull put spread, butterfly, condor. So when you're like, what should I do? And it's like iron condor. It's like, all right.
Most certainly.
Yeah. We know what's been working for me on stocks like this that already have high volatility in the options is shorting the stock and selling puts against it, a covered put. So basically, if it hits your put strike, they just make you buy the stock and now you're out. It's the opposite of a covered call.
Yeah.
So, or you buy a long put. But if the volatility is high, you don't want to be buying options on this. But if the volatility is high on a cheap stock, like a put, you need a big move for it to actually make money on the put. So shorting the stock gives you a nice delta. And it is a huge company. I don't see it going bankrupt. You know what I mean? So maybe 34 to 30 would be my target. Even like, so I diagonal calendar, the volatility is too high. So me personally, these covered puts have been working on stocks that have been bearish for a while. And little disclaimer here, though, if you're short a stock, you pay the dividend. You don't get paid the dividend. You pay the dividend to the person. So I want to make sure I don't get in a stock where I give away all my put money by giving somebody a dividend. So interesting strategy that's been working for me lately. I just wanted to put that out there. But yeah, do you guys like that? Do you guys like how easy it is to find stocks with the tackle gridiron? I think it's ingenious. I use it. Has anybody else not used it? Who here has not used it? I'm looking at the YouTube right now. And if you haven't, there is a link down there for a 15-day trial, guys. Jump right into the newsletter. It is so much of a time saver for finding trades, building a portfolio. It gets updated every single week. And a lot of time goes into it. What does that say? Oh, Larry Velasco. Guys, can we make an announcement? Larry Velasco's here. Can we make a big announcement real quick? Is that okay, Larry? Yes or no?
There's a slight delay between us and YouTube. Give him a second.
Okay.
I think I divined Larry said yes, but yeah.
Okay, so Larry, guys, big announcement on Larry. Almost as big as him having a newborn baby, but it's pretty big. Ready? Larry got a letter in the mail today from Legacy, Rich Dad, Poor Dad company. And Larry's a student of mine. And he just got accepted to the Hall of Fame Traders. He just made
Very
it to
nice. Congratulations, Larry.
Larry, you are a Hall of Fame
pretty
trader,
awesome.
man. You are going to be able to wear a golden badge that only a few people will get to wear. That means you are the best of the best, man. So everybody definitely give a thumbs up to Larry. His story is unbelievable. He comes from a very, very poor country back down in South America, broke out of it to become a Hall of Fame trader in America. And he has done some amazing things, has an amazing story. He's been educated by some of the best, but not out of luck. He had to search for it. And his story is phenomenal. He has made a retirement account that got taken away by, you know, some big drops, and he recovered it, fixed it with option strategies. And I'm just glad you're here, Larry. And he's here because that's what he does. He makes it priority, even though he has a job and kids and everything. He puts a lot of time into trade. He's a freaking Hall of Fame trader, guys.
Pretty awesome. That is pretty awesome.
Thanks for your presence, Larry. Thanks for being here, man. You're a celebrity, my friend.
Speaking of the talent, Larry Velasco, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, we have a Hall of Fame trader in our audience.
That is fantastic.
And you know what, Larry?
With that, I think we could end on a fantastic note saying congrats to Larry. And guys, we will be back tomorrow. Tonight we have the what's tonight? The Cash Flow Club.
Sounds right. Check that calendar.
Cash Flow Club tonight for our pro members. Make sure you check that out. Tomorrow we have Gino finishing up the Traders Lounge study, where he's going to be showing you how to continue to put very cheap insurance on your portfolio. That way, you know, next time we get some craziness, you'll be ready for that. So tomorrow, lounge, and then of course we'll be back here at the halftime report, guys. We're out.